funny. You tell me to talk about my life, but what if my life isn't funny?
All of our lives are funny, babe. We're God's animated cartoons.
Well, Tom, I understand you haven't forsaken Sacramento, that you spend a lot of time there. You go back and forth.
Yeah, I got a lot of family that lives in Sacramento, and I don't know if it's just me, but every time I get up there, I smell the air, and the air of Sacramento, the air of the valley once again. Yeah.
Well, how do you sneak through the airport without people knowing you're in town? You were just in town 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I was. Well, I drove up last time.
Uh-huh.
Just zip up, and that's always a very relaxing drive, and Sacramento is always a nice destination to get to.
Job sakes.
Sometimes you can't tell, can you, just by looking at a script on whether it's going to be great or not, or can you?
You have no idea. All you know is that you know what you hate. You know is when you read through something, I say, I hate this, and you can't do that. But when you read something that's good, that is a movie you haven't seen before, and then is also a character you haven't played, all you can really then buy into is the good faith of everybody else who's going to do that. That everybody is going to work to maximize the potential of this thing and really manifest this good quality thing up on screen. And in all honesty, to be able to do it on the 2 occasions that I had this year, both Big and Punchline, to sit there as a guy who's made the movie and say, these are good movies, and I happen to be in them. That it doesn't happen that often. You hope in a career you'll have 2 movies that you can be as proud of as I am of these, but in the same year, it gets quite ludicrous.
Well, let's see, Michael Douglas had Wall Street and Fatal Attraction. If you're nominated, are you going to show up? Because you've had 2 big movies in 1 year, as you say. That isn't easy to do.
Well, that's no guarantee of anything when it comes down to when they start handing out the trophies. But, you know, everybody hopes to be, if you're a football player, you hope to make it to the Super Bowl, you know, and if they invite me, sure, I'll play in the Super Bowl.
You are a doctor, sir?
Yes, I'm a doctor.
And what is your field of speciality?
This is my first year. I don't know yet.
Could I recommend a career in welding, perhaps?
Did you do, say, guest appearances at these little laugh clubs, gas station types,
laugh shacks,
to break in your timing?
The drive was always to come up with stand-up material that could be put into the movie that would be funny on its own, so that the people who hear it will laugh, no matter what they see up on screen. That was always what we were trying to do, and it you know, it was a long and very involved process.
Oh, yeah.
You know, week after week after week, 3 or 4 times a week, and then going back and redoing it and working on it some more. But it comes out to be a very choreographed, very balanced type of delivery, in which it seems as though you're doing it for the very first time, and yet each phrase, pause, beat is specifically planned and metered.
There are people with real talent and dedication waiting for a spot in this school. Now, one of them is going to have yours, because it serves no purpose to let someone like you become a practitioner of medicine. What good does it do, Mr. Gold, to allow someone with no talent for it to treat people with life-threatening ailments?
Well, it'll cut down on the number of people with life-threatening ailments.
What's it like, I've got to know, to see your picture on the cover of Newsweek magazine?
It's a big honor to be on Newsweek, you know. It's a bit intimidating, it's a bit overwhelming, and you kind of wish they'd used a better picture of you, but other than that, it's, you know, it's in some ways it's something that you hope, you dream in ways that will happen, but you really, when it does, you kind of go, oh well, son of a gun. Well,
and then you live in fear of the article, and the article was really complimentary.
See, that was very nice.
You know, I was reading that article in Newsweek magazine, where they, you know, they compare you with all kinds of people. I won't mention the names, Jack Lemmon and all that stuff.
Yeah, all those guys. Yeah.
But you came up with an interesting name, Tony Curtis. You thought was, did you not? Was one of the finer actors?
Well, you know, we were talking about these guys who did this for a long time, and Tony Curtis came up, and I've always been of the opinion that Tony Curtis is deserving of our affection, because this is one of these guys who, for a while, was on the cutting edge of film acting, of making big stream movies of all different sorts. And I think that, yeah, he gets a bad rap because of Yonda is a Castle of My Fada, something they didn't even say. But when you look at him, and he did movies like, this guy was in Spartacus and the Defiant Ones and the Vikings and
Sweet Smell of Success.
Sweet Smell of Success, which is an incredible motion picture, as well as you know, Sex and the Single Girl, which is not a very good movie, but also the thing he did with Jack Lemmon.
Some Like It Hot.
Some Like It Hot. This guy did an awful lot of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work. And I had a chance just to meet Mr. Tony Curtis somewhere, and I had to say, you know, look, you know, God bless you for you know.
I always liked
these guys were they were the pioneers for a while.
Well, I guess do you miss the Captain Sacto days and those great kid shows from that era?
Yeah, Diver Dan and all. Of course,
Gee, Diver Dan?
Yeah, yes. Fond memories. Oh, yes, Mr. Martin, very fond memories.